It was a shitstorm that left me not knowing myself. Hey sisters, today I want to talk about something that has been a huge revelation in part of my healing journey, especially as it relates to femininity. So we're going to talk about the femininity lie from extreme to extreme. And there are so many people online who will push living primarily in your feminine. And the truth is that it's different for everybody. What's balanced for you might look different than what's balanced for another female. When I was going through the very beginning of my healing journey, when I was becoming aware of everything, aware of why I was so detached, why I felt so heavy, why I felt so numb, a lot of it was the environment that I was in, but a lot of it was that I was so in my masculine. I was working constantly. I was leading from a masculine energy. I was hustling. I was leaning into goals and drive and getting shit done. I was leading my team that way. I was doing whatever the fuck it took to get it done. And I was also in a toxic relationship, which conflict, as we know, pushes a woman away from her feminine and into her masculine, because you have to protect, you have to guard. And so you're less open and vulnerable and you're a lot more closed off. So as I had this realization, I started learning about masculine and feminine energy. And the aha moment for me was realizing that I had completely abandoned, neglected, shut down, suppressed my femininity, my feminine energy. And so that was part of the problem. I wasn't feeling soft. I wasn't allowing myself to feel my emotions. I was shoving them deep down and never looking at them again. I wasn't addressing any underlying thoughts. I wasn't addressing any underlying beliefs. I didn't have any connection to expansion, understanding what energy was. I didn't even know how to connect to my energy anymore, how to connect to myself. And that's part of femininity and tapping into the flow and being able to just be in touch with yourself. So my initial go-to was I went all in and I was like, I have to get my femininity back. It became a redemption. And so I went on this quest to find myself again. And so in order to navigate from one extreme to the other, I had to really lay on the gas and go really hard at softening. I had to go really hard at doing all of the things that brought me my softness back. And so that was dance. That was allowing myself to feel emotions, allowing myself to cry. That was sleeping more. That was resting. That was having less direct hustle energy. At the time, it was also focusing on nurturing and healing and being in relationships, like friend relationships, family relationships. It was about reestablishing those connections that I had completely severed in my quest for this goal in business. And it's not that that's bad. It's that it was an extreme for so long, and the circumstances, it was a shitstorm. It was a shitstorm that left me not knowing myself. And so I went from one to go, 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 go. And then once I felt like I found myself, I realized that my narrative was like, oh, feminine energy, femininity. And I had redeemed it. I felt like myself again. I felt like I was able to be soft. But I also recognized that there are benefits and it's natural to have balance. We all have this feminine and masculine energy, and it has to integrate. And I realized, especially being a business owner, especially having the goals that I do, living the life that I do, I can have this softness and this feminine energy, but there's also this balance that I can have, because when I have a goal, I will fucking fight for it. I will hustle. I will stay up all night. I will do whatever the fuck it takes to get somewhere. When my back's against the corner, I will scratch my way out. And that aggression, that direction, that focus orientation, that is masculine energy. And so I can create and be in flow from my femininity. But when I also need to grind, when I need to focus, when I need to get shit done, I can tap into my masculine. Same thing. If I go to the gym and I'm going to lift heavy weights, I'm going to get in the zone. I'm going to turn on some music that's not like flowy dance, feel in my intuition music. It's going to be something that has a little bit more of a rhythm that I can lift heavy weight to, that I can really get into it and get in tune with that energy in my body. And so it's not about choosing one or the other. It's not about saying masculine energy is bad. It's not about saying feminine energy is the answer to everything. The key is in the balance. And so when I look at healing, especially when I look at women such as myself, such as many in business that I've talked to who have lost themselves, step one is honor that path, honor the feminine redemption. That's phase 1. But phase 2 is reclaiming that balance and figuring out what that means for you, because it's different for everybody. My balance won't look like yours. And if we look at the story, the shift from one extreme to another to then finding the middle ground, I think it's a journey. I don't want to call it a mistake. It's a journey that a lot of people go on in a lot of ways. And as a business owner, as someone who has led a team, as someone who has developed all of these different skill sets, I've seen that time and time again. And another example where I have personally done this is in leadership. I went from extreme to extreme. I went from very passive, very didn't know what I was doing leadership to people were doing whatever they wanted. They weren't listening. Nobody respected me. So I dropped the hammer and I went to the polar end, and I won't say that I wasn't nice. It could have been perceived that way. But I was very direct, very straightforward, and it was all business. And that's really hard, especially when you have a business. You care about people. They're part of the family. But when you go into that meeting room, I was like channeling this energy that this is so serious and it needs to be rah. And that's not me. That's not how I want to lead a team. That's not how I want to get things done. I don't want to lead with fear. And so I swung from not having a path to going way too on the extreme. And then when I sat with it and I realized, ooh, this isn't how I want to lead. This isn't how I want to feel when I leave meetings with my team. This isn't how I want to build. This isn't the culture that I want to have. Then I swung the other way. And so then I made 30 and 60 and 90-day check-ins and then quarterly check-ins with full spreadsheets that people filled out with how they were feeling and what they enjoyed about their job and the things that they disliked. And if they could stop doing anything, what would it be? And if they could start doing anything, what would it be? And what that allowed for was now people were telling me their feelings about their job. They were telling me not objective data on how it was going, which is what it needs in order for a business to be effective, profitable, efficient. But it was also opening the door for complaining. And I can listen, I can absorb, I can be an ear, I can help fix things that are broken in the company. But if you want to just complain about working, don't complain about the job that I just hired you for. And so it went from one extreme to the other, and I realized, okay, I need to stop asking these people all the things that they don't want to do about their job, because then I don't know how to respond. 2, I'm not going to address every single thing, because part of it is that's the fucking role. And, I sat there and I would look for ways to make it better, but you can't adjust a role to every single employee. You have to find the employee to fit the role. And so I think as long as you're building from love, as long as you're leading a team with the culture that you have set, with the values in place that you have set that mean everything to you, that you lead and live by, then you can find that true north that neither extreme gets to. And we can apply that to the journey of healing. We can apply that to so many things. So for me, my ideal balance is that I like to have slow, flowy mornings. I like to enjoy my coffee. I like to sit outside with my dogs. I like to meditate. I like to do breath work. And that doesn't mean that I abandon my activities. What I do is I actually get up earlier so that I can start working at 7. So if I get up at 4 and I have all of that me time, now I can feel ready to work. I've gotten that flow state in. I can focus on the job. And then intermittently, as I'm using this masculine energy to focus, to lead, to get things done, I'll spend maybe 4 hours on a task or doing computer work, and then I'll take some time to myself. I'll go to the gym for a midday workout. And yes, that's masculine energy if I'm going and I'm lifting heavy, but it's also me time. And so it's using it in a different way. From there, I come back, I have some time, I eat, I get back into work. And so then that's me channeling that energy again to get things done. But the entire time, notice that my entire day, it's not an extreme. I'm not so flowy that it's chaotic. And I'm not so masculine that I'm stressed. And I mean that in a way that's, I have so many things to do. I need to get all these things done and blah, 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 like leading with that energy. You can have a whole task of things to do. You can have the plan to get it all done. You can know that it's going to get fit in the day. And if you approach it with the energy of, yeah, I have a lot to do, I'll get it done, you will be so much more at peace, and you'll also be able to manage your energy a lot more. When you're stressed, that commandeers your ability to navigate that medium. And so that's what my work day looks like. And then at the end of the day, what I do is I dance, I do yoga, I do more breath work, I might meditate again. I love sitting outside. And also of note, sitting outside for me is huge. In the sunshine, with the breeze, with my dogs. I will work outside for hours if I can. And so it's finding, what does that perfect day look like for you? What can you do to support you and your needs and your priorities? And what are the things that make you feel really good? Because for me, a lot of those things are dance, it's outside, it's meditating, it's taking care of myself, but it's also getting things done because I love business. I love leading, I love learning, I love building, I love doing all of the back end things. But if you look at any of these things, everything in moderation, if we did only one thing, we would get tired of it. We wouldn't enjoy it as much. I hope that's helpful. It's not a strategy to scheduling your day for every single thing and making sure that you get this because of this energy and this because of this. That's not the way that it works. It's about how you feel throughout the day and planning your day to be something that you enjoy doing and that you can approach with gratitude and being in the present moment. Whether you're using directive energy or whether you're in creativity, it's not about the go, 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 because then you'll realize you're just going to end up getting into that hustle, that pure masculine energy. So think about what you enjoy. Think about what gives you life. Think about what gets you results. Think about the things that you need to do and how you can best do them. If you're in a phase of healing, if you've been on one extreme, focus on your redemption. Figure out how to get to that other side. Figure out how to light yourself up again. And then figure out the balance. This is all a journey. It ebbs and flows, and we want to think that it's linear, and it's not. It goes like this. It's never straight. So we move forward and then we take a step back. We move forward and we take a step back. So if you are anywhere in that phase, and I know you're somewhere in your journey, just feel gratitude, enjoy the present moment, and give yourself what you need.